Oh wow. Here I am, 120 meters above the ground, looking out over Burgenland. The current dreadful crisis in Ukraine is a stark reminder of something we should have known already. Austria is dangerously dependent on fossil fuel imports. One way to get away from that dependence, to make ourselves more independent, is to expand the renewable sector, and that also means building up the wind power network. I've come here to Gols in Burgenland to look at a wind park and find out what needs to happen technologically and politically to make it easier to get more wind energy for Austria. Yeah, the microphone's on and we're going up. A bit of an environmental adventure. How high is the turbine?
Well, where
we're going
will be over 120 meters high.
Okay, 120 meters. Okay. We've climbed up to the Maschinenraum, and now we're going to go on top of this room, and we should see beautiful views and beautiful wind turbines, and we'll chat about why we need to expand this network of energy creation. It is spectacular up here, but the first thing I'm going to do is put this in. Oh, I feel better now. This is where clean energy is made. Clean energy not imported from Russia. What a day to be up here. Now, we had a long climb up here, a long journey up here, which is very exciting, but in this world of wind turbines, height is so important. Why?
Yeah, because the higher you go up, the more constant the wind is. I mean, we know when it's windy, and then in this area it's always very windy, but if you're down there at the field, you might get the wind for, I don't know, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, and it stops, and then it comes going. But up here, it's like when you are on the mountain, on the top of the mountain, there's always a little breeze. So going up, the higher you go, the more constant the wind is, and the more we can use of the wind for generating electricity.
Since you started, how has the technology changed? I mean, how much more efficient have wind turbines become? How much more powerful have they become?
Yeah, there's been a huge change. So when the industry started basically 30 years ago, one turbine would generate the electricity for, I would say, 500 households, maybe less. And the turbine we're standing here on now produces so much electricity that 4,000 to 5,000 households can use over a year.
So we have this ever-improving source of renewable energy and the materials and technical know-how to expand the network. Martin Fliegenschnee-Jaksch of the Austrian Wind Energy Association says Austria could reach energy independence and its climate goals very quickly if it was prepared to give more land to wind power.
Wir haben ein sehr hohes Potenzial. Wir können in Österreich auf nur 2% der Landesfläche 83 Terawattstunden Strom erzeugen. Das ist mehr, als wir derzeit überhaupt in Österreich produzieren. Wir können sehr viel machen und sehr viel leisten. Die Windenergie wird zur wichtigsten Stromerzeugungstechnologie in Österreich werden in der Zukunft, in wenigen Jahren. Und 200 Windräder pro Jahr, dann sind wir ganz schnell dort.
But that is not happening. Indeed, in some recent years, even though we've known for a long time just how pressing the climate crisis is, Austria has decommissioned more old, outdated turbines than it has built new ones. So why is it all going so slowly?
Der erste Punkt ist, wir brauchen die Flächen, um die Windräder errichten zu können. Wir brauchen bei den Genehmigungsbehörden genug Personal und Ressourcen, dass die Genehmigungen auch durchgehen und nicht monatelang liegen bleiben, weil zu wenig Personal hier ist. Und wir brauchen die Genehmigungen, die besonders schnell durchgehen. Wir haben jetzt die Situation in Niederösterreich zum Beispiel, dass wir das Landschaftsbild 3-mal untersuchen müssen. Das muss einmal reichen, das muss schneller gehen.
Of course, erecting a new wind turbine can't be a process that goes above the local population's heads, but Lucas says this process is already very democratic.
Most of the people are actually in favor of the projects. It's the problems are not with the people in the villages or in the communities. Most of the problems are with the local governments. So it's very, you said democratic, and it's true, absolutely true, because you start the project by asking the landowner, not only one, but typically a couple of landowners. And when they agree, you go to the community. And when everybody in the community agrees, then you go to local government, and so it goes on. So once there's a project that's being approved, you've asked everyone in all the stages.
Even on a windless day, like today, renewables are effective, says Lucas, not just because of a grid that links different regions where weather conditions might be different, but also because the wind and the sun work like a tag team. When one is having a rest, the other one is busy.
Most of the days where it's not that windy is really sunny. So there's also the plan to put a solar park, a photovoltaic park, close to each turbine, so that you have a power plant. Then when it's sunny, it produces like the power from the solar plant. So when it's windy, the power comes from the wind turbines.
There's a rivalry for investment in Europe between renewables and nuclear power. Nuclear advocates say it produces energy when the sun isn't shining and the wind isn't blowing. But there is an advantage for wind. You're not stuck with a 1,000-year legacy of dangerous waste.
Perfect thing is, if we don't need it in 40 years, we just, I don't know, give it away.
So unlike nuclear, there's not like
it's always very easy they're built within a couple of weeks actually, or a couple of months, and taking away a turbine, it takes a week, and if you don't like it anymore, just take it down. But you're not taking decisions for future generations that cannot be, I don't know, turned around or something.
So the message from the wind energy in Austria is quite clear. They have the capability, they have the enthusiasm to create enough renewable energy to cover the needs of Austria, so it's independent of fossil fuel imports, but they need the politicians to act on a local level, on a community level, and of course on a federal level too. This was FM4 Klimanews from up on top of a wind turbine in Burgenland. We'll be back next week. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Tell us what you think about the potential of wind energy in Austria.